Dragon Ball Z. That's it for 30 minutes. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, Goku might do something. It's like, how many Dragon Ball Z characters does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Goku is still constipated.
I read something that said a Dragon Ball Z creator died or something.
What?
It came through my Facebook feed. I don't actually pay attention to the show.
There goes Stacy being a Debbie Downer again.
No, wait.
It came through my Facebook feed.
Okay, well, yeah, that's obviously the case because Facebook is fucking wrong. Akira Toriyama is definitely not dead. Scared the shit out of me. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Creator. I said or something. It said a voice. It's a voice person.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry to scare the shit out of you.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Akira Toriyama.
Okay. Sorry.
Wait, who died? Oh, the guy who voiced Frieza. Oh, that sucks. Frieza.
Kakarot!
He always confused the shit out of me. Yeah, no,
it's not that hard to do the Frieza voice. Kakarot!
What the fuck?
You clown!
What the fuck is wrong with you? I hate it. I don't even know if you're joking. Oh god. Alright, so anyway. Last time, you guys made your way out of the town of Crest Bertoke after dealing with the horde of zombies that Cletus had dragged into town. On your way out there, you tried to make it out to the field house as quickly as possible, and in the process, Willow ended up tripping and causing a bit of a drawing noise for the undead. Combat ensued, during which Peregrine and Rook both went down at different points, but Willow was able to recover them. Once the group reached the field house, there was a lone zombie that was trying to get into the house, into the front door, but the group was able to annihilate this thing. Once inside, the group met up with the farmers that was there. There was about 7 of them. You were introduced to Brayton, who was the one who spoke with you, Bjorn, who is the large, imposing figure in front of one of the doors, Rohrhoth, who is standing next to the door, and Martin. The other 3 are undescript and massively unimportant in the grand scheme of things, because I have no intention of giving them names or portraits.
Okay.
So, you guys talked with them.
No intention of keeping them alive then.
Yeah. You guys talked with them for a little while. And then you decided to take a rest. And that is actually, let's put them there. So that is actually where we're going to pick up. You guys have been here now for about an hour or so. During this time, what would you guys have been doing during this downtime?
That is a great question. Is anyone here injured at all? Does anyone need any aid?
No.
Not after the hit points on the rest.
I meant the villagers. Wank.
Oh.
Yes, selfish wanks.
I'm going to say... when you say that, you know, they all sort of look across at one another. And they, Brayton, the gentleman who is right here, he says, I think we're all right. I mean, the only one who ended up in a major scuffle was Bjorn over here, and he gestures to the big hulking fellow. He says, yeah, unfortunately, he was he was back there with Daryl when that one got him, but he made it out of there okay. The rest of us have been, we've been trying to hold back as much as we could from going next to the windows. It was rough there for a minute. We grabbed as many supplies we could from the barn out beyond yonder and tried to board up all the windows that we could. So, but unfortunately, those things rose by the time that we was finishing up, and that was the last time that they came for us.
So NPCs don't get magically healed during short rest.
I mean, they do get like they do get some healing, but I mean they have like 4 hit points, so.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So they only have to roll their 1 farmer hit die.
Right. They have 1d8, so
Oh,
they get 4 hit points.
That's good.
All right. What is anyone else doing during this downtime?
I'm just trying to think if there's anything I could do ahead of time. Beg the gods and goddesses for a sorcery point or 2 back.
No. I mean, technically, you could. You could convert your sorcery points. You could convert a 1st level spell or something into sorcery points.
Yeah. I won't do that. I don't think there's anything to like ready. Or
Okay. All right. So, while you guys are here for the hour, that was the long rest. I want everyone to roll me a perception check.
All right.
oh man.
Perception. I see all.
Yeah.
Well, you are a bird of prey.
Bird of prey.
I did pretty well. I'm used to having higher perception.
Honestly, I think this is like one of the first characters you've ever made that has no bonus to perception. All right. So, with that, as the hour goes by, there's something that you all notice. That is that, as the minutes go by, the room starts getting colder. Almost to a slightly unnatural level. I mean, you are in the countryside, but it's not the time of year where things would get this cold in the evening. But you can actually hear a few of the farmers' teeth chattering from them trying to, warm themselves up. In fact, at one point, you see Martin over here in the hat. He looks over at this farmer, and they seem to be whispering to one another. You all take note of this, and Martin walks over to Brayton, and you can all hear this. He says, "So, do you think Do you think maybe we could light a match or two? Try and warm ourselves up? I mean, my fingers are numb at this point.
Just
And
finish this up and then I'll come in.
just feeling a shaking in my bones.
I'll be right in.
No.
Brayton looks at all of you
No.
in query.
Do you have a chimney? Or is this gonna be like is there like a fireplace or something you want to use?
There is a chimney right over here above the stove.
That's what
We know that they're attracted to light and sound. If everything's boarded up right, there wouldn't be light coming out, it would just be smoke coming out of the chimney.
I doubt they got much of a sense of smell, and dark enough wouldn't be easy to see. The wood burning stove is well sealed up, and should be safe enough to light that. A little bit of crackling noise will be less than us shifting around in here.
And so with that, Martin heads over, grabs a few logs, and throws them in, takes a match with some kindling, lights it up, just so that there's at least a small glow here in the room. Oh, that's actually bigger than I wanted it to be.
Too much. Too much.
Too much. There we go. So once that's lit, see that the room sort of warms up a bit. But I'm gonna say that because of the lower roll on Willow, the cold was starting to get to you just a little bit more than the others. So you're more focused on like trying to warm up your fingertips by the fire. But for Rook, Peregrine, and Tor, and Rook, I'm gonna say you actually noticed this. You noticed this before the light was on, but Peregrine and Tor, when once this light is on, you glance around the room. Now that you actually have a little bit more vision in here, Peregrine and Tor not having the aid of dark vision and simply going by shadows, you see that Bjorn, that is up against that one door, you can see that he has, that as he's standing there, over this past hour that you guys have been there, you've been hearing a slight muffled cough from him, as he's been trying to stifle a cough. And it's once the light to the stove is turned on, you can see that his right arm has its sleeve pulled down. His left arm, the sleeve is pulled up. But you can see that it's kind of stained in blood. And additionally, for the two higher ones, Peregrine and Tor, as the light is turned on, you can hear the crackling from the wood starting to break the silence a bit. The glow from the inside of the stove starting to illuminate. The two of you start to hear a soft moaning sound coming from the end of the hallway behind you. That in the silence, it just sounds like a quiet
So I want to very pointedly make eye contact with Peregrine.
Yeah.
And when I've got her eyes locked, trail them over to the wound, the apparent wound on the guy standing there. I can't
Yep.
remember. Brayton.
Bjorn.
Bjorn.
Is it the one who's up top or below?
Yes, it's the big guy up at the top.
He's the one right next to me.
Yep.
All right. Hey, buddy. You need some dressing changed on that little scratch you got there on your arm?
When you approach him, everyone sort of shifts their gaze to you. And when you point this out, Brayton, he goes up and he says, "Oh, what the hell happened to you?" And Bjorn standing there looking down at you, Peregrine, he stifles another cough.
Or sneeze.
Yeah. And he says, "I'll be fine." And he takes a little bit of his sleeve and just sort of like wraps it around his wrist, grabs it with his hand, and just crosses his arms. "It's nothing."
Can I make an insight roll?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Somebody needs to.
Oh, I should also say, because I think this is the first time this may have come up.
Looks like it's going to be a 1.
Oh, well, so.
Can I?
So the thing
Hold on. No, it rolled. Yes!
Oh, nice.
It rolled a 19.
There you go.
24.
Some I was going to say, whenever it came up in the particular moment, because I don't know if it has, but I'll say it definitively now. The way that I do, the way insight, perception, and investigation, your sense rolls, I do those as you can never roll lower than your passive. So on your character sheet, you can see on the left, you have, like, Peregrine has a 15 in perception and insight and a 13 in investigation. So if Peregrine were to roll, an 11 in perception, I'll always go with a 15 because that's like your base senses. But with a 24, you can tell, I mean, just his body language, he's being very like matter-of-factly shutting it off, not pushing that conversation. It definitely seems like he's trying to move the conversation on and avoid answering that.
Yeah, so with as my background as an investigator, I'm not letting this go.
Okay.
So, I'm basically gonna pull him in. I'm gonna look at him dead square in the eyes.
Okay.
It's like, you're gonna listen to me, sir. I need to see that wound on your arm. That is not a request. That is going to happen.
Is that your persuasion?
No, that's not persuasion.
That's not persuasion. That's intimidation.
Yeah.
Intimidation.
That's definitely intimidation. So go ahead and roll an intimidation check.
Oh fuck.
So we're gonna chalk.
Can I cock my shotgun for advantage?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I will let you. Yeah, it'll add another layer.
Right.
All I'm imagining is like this Calavera Calavera warrior, just who, like, how tall is Peregrine? Do you have that in your? Yeah. Okay. So like this 5'9" Calavera warrior walking up to this almost like 6'8", super broad shouldered farmer, just like let me see that arm. And he just doesn't move, and it's
Fuck.
Oh no.
Oh no!
um.
I would-
So.
Well, it had to happen eventually.
Um. So. So before I continue, does Tor do anything? When Peregrine does this, just because you had the insight roll.
Yeah. So Tor, he moves his barrel from in between the two of them,
Okay.
and he doesn't take the spot. He just moves the barrel. He says, "Friend Bjorn, that wound has only gotten worse since we arrived. It continues to bleed and doesn't seem to have staunched. You might do well to let our healer have a look at it and see what she can do to help."
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure at this point Willow would have noticed you all trying to
Yeah. At this
And-
point, Rook and Willow
persuade.
are both aware of
And it's
what is going
not
on.
my strong point, but I guess I'll go ahead and roll persuasion with that since I'm not trying to
I
intimidate. I'm trying the
I
other
think I would
approach.
probably follow up with, we were hit pretty bad out there, and with some of my training, I was helped everyone.
Looks like it's going to be a 14.
We're here now.
Okay.
Can I roll persuasion, adding in my?
What
I'm
are you?
proficient in
What?
it.
Right. But what are you specifically saying in that moment?
Oh, because that I was able to keep us sustained after our battle, and I feel like I could help him in this instance since we're in a safe space and everything.
I mean, I've got something else to add too if that fails.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll persuasion as well.
Ugh, not as high as I hoped,
Okay.
but
So, when Peregrine walked up, she made her stance and her point known. Bjorn just basically puts his hand on the shotgun barrel and moves it down away from him. With his left arm, his right one, the one that has the blood on it, just sort of hanging there. That's when Tor speaks up, and Willow as well. And at this point, he realizes that the three of you have all kind of gathered around him. And Brayton, who's standing there next to him, he's kind of looking down at it, and he says, "Yeah, man, that thing ain't looking good. You should let them look at it. If they're able to, help you out, then that's what you need." And Bjorn he sighs a slightly defeated sigh, and fine. And he slowly begins to roll his sleeve back, to show in the glow of the stove a you know what? Let me pull this up on here.
Ooh, excuse me.
Crap. I had one saved and now I lost the picture.
Man, that would have been a hell of a World of Darkness roll.
What's that?
10, 10, 9, 9, 9, 9. Andrew would have called bullshit.
I would have. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, sir. Get thy fuckery away from here.
So, I will post this in the chat. But his arm is covered in dried blood, and there is a festering wound there that looks like this.
Ew.
Yeah,
I
that
love
looks
how
like a
there's
bite, all
only
right.
a person with a pretty dress in the background. I was at this summer party and then this
Well,
happened.
I mean, here I could do what I was originally going to do, and we can go with what is
What, real injury?
an actual physical wound. Um, I'm gonna delete this within like 10 seconds of posting it because I don't want to see this. But yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
it's just a draw.
yeah, that's some necrotizing fasciitis there.
Goddamn right it is.
But yeah,
Just
no,
enthralling.
still can't handle that shit. But yeah, so you see this as he pulls his sleeve back. You can all see he has as he's doing this. You're all getting a little bit of a closer look at him. You can see that he has beads of sweat starting to form on his forehead, as well as his. You've noticed that his cough has started to persist a little bit more.
Well, look what we have here. Looks like someone may have gotten a little too close. One of the undead outside.
Or the one in the hall.
It's just a scratch.
That, sir, is more than just a scratch. That is necrotizing.
He then, pulls his sleeve down. He says, "I said it was nothing. Fucking Daryl's the one that got bit."
Was
And where's
Daryl the
Daryl?
only one? Daryl's probably the one making those sounds we hear in the hall.
Is that true? Is Daryl the one who got bit here?
I watched it happen. Good as dead.
Tor,
Yes.
watch this man. Where is Daryl?
Brayton, you see, with all of this, Martin has stepped around and he's like, "Well, Bjorn said that. I mean, he's down the back door on the left. They were boarding up the room back there when everything was going on."
Back here?
Yeah, and he points down to this door. Yeah, down to down to this door in the back. I know it's kind of hard to see.
Willow would probably mention. You said he's visibly sweating.
Yeah, his you see like his
And
forehead is just beating up with sweat.
it's not warmed up enough that he should suddenly be sweating.
No, it is still like imagine like a cold autumn night, and you've only just put on a pair of socks. Like, you still have that slight chill in your spine. The seals on the windows aren't perfect, so you're still getting a little bit of a draft. But you're now like your fingers aren't nearly as bad because you've just made a bowl of cheese and broccoli soup, and you're holding on to the bowl. But your whole body, like, you get one bad shiver, and you're gonna have giant eagle soup all over your new comforter.
Like, I don't know. Are you peeking into my life? Because that's me all winter. I put it always a little bit cold.
But yes, with the temperature in the room, he should not be sweating nearly as much as he is.
Yeah. I think Willow would say something like, "Sir, we can or you seem to have a fever. It is still rather chilly in here, and you look unwell.
I'm fine. Peregrine, what are
We
you?
wouldn't want to risk
Oh,
any of your friends' lives. We did come here to rescue and protect you.
you see, he's like I said, he's just kind of like looking around the room. Everyone sort of has their attention on him, and he's just like, I said it's fine.
I am
We
going
certainly
to
will.
investigate the noises coming from the other side of the house.
Yes.
Okay. So you climb over the barrels and debris that are in the hallway. As you start making your way down to the door in the back, you can hear this moaning sound, just this. And you reach the door. Do you you can see that the door has been hastily boarded up on the outside.
All right, so
Oh, I
knowing
was like, where'd
that
she go? You snuck down the hallway.
knowing that my shotgun will alert basically every undead motherfucker in the area, I'm going to use Forge Elemental Weapon, and a wisp and trail of smoke and fire come from the fireplace and trail down towards the hallway as I form my sword in my hand.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome. Fucking love that.
Perfect.
All right. So we will say that you start burning away
It's
at
like
yeah.
it's like, the beginning of fucking episode 1 where Qui-Gon Jinn is just like has his
Yep.
lightsaber in the it's just working my way down the door edge.
Yeah.
Like
Um
smell wood smoke.
as you are doing this, Bjorn standing up here, he sees you going down there, and he looks at Brayton and Martin. He's like, he shouldn't be going down there. It's too dangerous. And you can see that he starts to like try to push forward to move down the hallway as well. Is anyone doing anything to stop him?
Yeah, Tor will move to right there.
Okay. Um. Oh, I see Rook has taken an advantageous position.
No, I don't know where to go.
Well, he was holding
I
that
don't want
door
to
for
be
some
between
reason. I
all
don't want
these
to leave it
farmers.
unattended.
Like here.
True.
That is smart. It'll be on.
All right. So you can
Oh, I
see.
wanted to ask.
Uh-huh.
We gave weapons to who?
The guy at
Do
the
you remember?
um, due
Uh,
south of
The
me has my
bottom.
crossbow.
yeah. Rorhoth has a crossbow.
That's it. I thought there was more than one weapon shared, but it's unimportant.
I don't believe so. I'm trying to look
I know
back.
someone else said something, but I don't think it. I didn't write anything in notes except for weapon
Yeah.
was shared.
We'll just say Rorhoth has the crossbow. Um. So, when you two step in close there, Rook, you go and press your back up against this door. You can feel that as soon as he stepped forward, and we're gonna say that this is kind of what set you off to go step in front of that. The door almost appeared as if it was like slowly starting to open. And when you press up against it, you can feel that there is a pressure on the other side. Um, Tor, I'm going to need you to make a strength check.
Okay. Make sure to roll strength instead of the saving throw this time.
True. Ooh.
I can't even see the goddamn number because it's under something. Oh, a 10.
So Bjorn walks up, you step out in front of him, and you try and position yourself, and he looks down at the hall and he can see what Peregrine is doing at this point, and he says, no, stop her. And he sees you in front of him, and he tries to push you out of the way, and your footing is starting to slip. Willow or Rook, do you guys want to do anything? You can see Martin steps forward and Brayton are trying to hold him back, but you can see they're no match for him. Do you two want to do anything right now to stop Bjorn's advance?
Pretty bad considering my strength is a 19.
I know. I rolled a 19 though, that's why.
What's Bjorn trying to do?
Bjorn is trying to move Tor out of the way so that he can go down the hallway. He's going to try and stop Peregrine.
Peregrine.
I've already got lined up what I'm
I
gonna do if he tries anything.
I mean, the next thing I'm probably going to do is headbutt
Right.
him.
I was just gonna
Headbutt
cast
him.
command and tell him to stop.
Love that spell.
Rook is going to mutter a few arcane
I've
words,
got-
casting thaumaturgy, which
I've got,
causes the flame in the stove to turn bright purple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I miss spells like that. I've got throw hands. It's just kind of like a blocking thing, isn't it?
You have a spell called Throw Hands.
Yeah, that's my spell, baby.
Yeah, because it's funny.
That's
and it
a
actually
Lucas
seems a little
special, baby.
practical.
You conjure spectral hands that shoot out from your palms. You can make ranged spell attacks that deal 1d6 force damage, or that can take the shove action contested against your spell save. And since it's a cantrip, it goes up based on the hands at different levels. So you can literally shove someone like for every palm you want. You could it was inspired by sumo. Because my one friend was playing a warlock who was a clockwork. He worshipped like clocks and mechanics and stuff, and the patron that he worshipped, or his patron was this like six-handed creature, and so I made this cantrip especially for him. Yeah, I've always loved that one, and because it's not nearly as powerful as other spells. It's not nearly as powerful as Firebolt or Eldritch Blast, but it's got that shove action.
Well, I think I might prepare it and say just leave her do her thing.
What specifically are you preparing? Like, are you readying it for him
Well,
to
if he
do something?
moves any
I mean, no,
further,
he is
then
actively.
I only have one hand.
Tor
Oh.
is actively getting pushed aside right now. So if you want to
Okay.
cast this, you can try and shove him back.
Sure. I only have one hand because I'm only not level 5 yet. Though.
Okay, so go ahead and.
Is that what I do?
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to roll to hit, for that. Oh wait, no. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Sorry.
It's right there in the box.
Yeah. So now, let me see.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not actively trying to harm him. But
No. Yeah,
help with
you're
this,
just doing the shove action,
okay.
which means that he needs to make an athletics check contested against your spell save, which is 13. Yeah, he has succeeded. He is pushing through. But I'm actually going to
Sorry, I
give
only
him
had one.
disadvantage. Okay, so the way that this scene is starting to play out, Peregrine has moved down the hallway. She has begun doing this Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber action. Bjorn is now starting to get very frustrated. You going to bed, hon? All right, good night. Me too. Bjorn's getting frustrated, and he's starting to, move towards the hallway. Tor steps in between, trying to hold him back, but just this guy's might is pushing through. Rook takes point on the door, casting thaumaturgy on the stove, turning the light a bright purple. As he does this, sort of draws everyone's attention. As Willow, you cast throw hands, trying to shove him back, which you are able to do. He slides back 5 feet. And at that point, Martin and Brayton are going to try and hold him back as he's struggling up against this wall, just shouting, "Don't let her open that door!" At which point, the door opens. And Peregrine, you're able to enter. I am going to say that since you have that torch, or since you have that sword, I'm going to give you a 5-foot bright light flicker there. As you enter this room, you see that the one window on the western side is broken. There is blood dripping down from it. You can see that a bed has been pushed up against this wall. This window has been boarded up on the southern side. And you can see right behind, right next to the door here, I know there's a body on the bed, but you actually see, as you open up the door, there's a man laying on the ground, and he's looking up at you. You can see that his head has a massive cut in it. That blood is covering his face, and on top of that, you can also see that he has a piece of glass that is stabbed into his side. As he looks up at you, and he just goes, "Help me! Help!"
I render aid.
Is this supposed to be on the screen? All I can see is Peregrine in black darkness.
That's because you can only see what your character can see.
Oh.
Let me go ahead and make a heal check to get like an accurate assessment of his wounds.
Okay, go ahead and roll for medicine.
Medicine.
Okay, so you get down on the ground, you take a look at him. Also roll me a perception check when you do this. Just keep in mind, anything under a 15 is a 15. Okay, so cool, you got a 15. So you look at him, you look around the room, and it becomes pretty clear what has transpired. The man's head is cut. You imagine from broken glass of some kind, and there's a piece of glass in his side, and you can see that there are blood marks from where that bed is pushed up against the window to where this man is laying. You can see that he has lost a lot of blood. That from your medical standing, if you do not get these wounds sealed up in time, he is probably going to die.
All right. I would like to proceed to fix him.
Okay. I imagine you're casting Cure Wounds or something.
Yeah. Why the fuck not? I got a couple of them. Cure Wounds. Let's give him some health.
All right. Yeah. So you begin casting this spell on him. From the end of the hallway, all of you can hear Peregrine muttering these words in this incantation. Bjorn is out here just, no, you've got to stop her. If he's turned into a zombie, he could attack her and he could turn her to something. Don't, you need to stop her.
Wait. You said he was already turned. You knew he was already turned.
I saw him get bit and I figured he was gonna die. He was gonna turn soon anyway. You gotta stop him.
What did you do, Bjorn?
I didn't do nothing. We were just boarding up the room. He got bit, and I locked him in there. And
I'm gonna roll my insight.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking the same, since I already told him, yeah, you said he was already turned.
That is not gonna be pretty. Said 14 is gonna be, unless it keeps rolling.
I love how yours rolls for so long. It makes no sense. Yeah. So the three of you can tell right off the bat. He is bullshitting. Like he is trying to save face right now. And as he's saying this, he's like pushing back against Martin and Brayton, and they're like holding him down, and they're like, Bjorn, what did you do? And he's
Bjorn, did you hurt that man?
And he locks eyes with you, and he's not answering. He's just taking these deep labored breaths as you see sweat is dripping down his face. His arm is just covered in blood, as it's almost like, wet with blood at this point.
You betrayed your crew, Bjorn. At this point, I'm gonna ready my attack, I think.
Yeah, so while this is going on inside the room, Peregrine, you cast this spell. As you do, you see the wound where the glass on his side is. The wound begins to seal up as the glass falls out, because honestly, I don't know how healing works in D&D. It's been fucking 8 years, and I still don't know how that shit works. But you are able to get it down to where there is still like a cut on him that has like a small trail of blood, but it's definitely not life-threatening. And Daryl,
you were the one bitten,
I
Bjorn, and you were covering it up.
Yeah,
I gave an NPC 10 hit points. He's fine.
He stands up weakly and he looks at you and he says, "Oh my God, thank you. Is he not there?"
Why were you locked in here?
Bjorn, he got bit. I said that we had to tell the others.
I stand up.
What I just said.
Yep.
I stand and I walk outside, and it's like fucking. Now another Star Wars reference. Now we went from episode 1 to Rogue One,
Oh yeah.
and you just see the fire sword at the end of the hallway,
Yes.
and some heavy breathing
Yes.
as the room begins to fill with smoke as I'm dragging the sword along the floor.
Daryl is slowly dragging himself out as you make your way down the hallway, and he's telling you from behind. He says, "He got bit through the window. I said we had to tell the others, and he slammed my head into the thing. I slipped on the glass, and he locked me in. Did he turn? Is everyone all right?"
Can we hear him at our...
Oh, At this point,
Yeah.
as he's coming out, you guys can see Peregrine coming down the hallway, flaming sword in hand. Daryl, this man behind you, without realizing it, I accidentally did take his name from the one guy from Walking Dead. But you see this man, like limping up behind her, holding his side, where you see just like a small, or you see there's a lot of blood on him, and you see there's blood on his face, and a scar across his head, and the tatters of clothes, and you can hear.
You two might want to move.
Bit wound off.
Yep.
Did he turn yet? And that's when I will say that's when Peregrine steps back into the room. You see Martin and Brayton, they just sort of step away. As Bjorn his sweat has reached this mounting point where he's like reeling from the pain. Martin and Brayton aren't even next to him, and he's still like wrenching around as he looks around, and he's like, no, you got it wrong. I can deal with it. And as he says that, you can see his eyes start rolling back in his head.
Oh no.
Can I do
And
something?
he comes.
Sure, go ahead.
If you'll let me get this off before he fully turns, I want to look at him and say, the Raven Queen holds no sympathy for fools who endanger others. And can I cast Toll the Dead?
No.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
All right, he has to make a Wisdom save 13.
All right. And I'm going to say he's going to make this with disadvantage. Yep, that's a failure.
All right, is he missing any hit points?
We're going to say that he is.
Baller.
Yep. Because I know
wounded.
Toll the Dead has that amazing ability that if they already have they've already taken damage, it's a harder hit. Funny enough, that's actually all you needed, because I was gonna say he's missing half of his hit points.
That's 2 necrotic damage.
Yeah. So.
But you die.
You all see Peregrine point at Bjorn as the sound of a church bell rings, and you see Bjorn. He goes and he grabs his ears, which you see start bleeding, and in his final moments, he's just it hurts. And he looks over at Brayton. We're gonna say Brayton's right here. He reaches out in a final moment of defiance, and he grabs Brayton's leg, and he like pulls at him, and he looks him in the eyes. He says, "Tell my boy, I'm sorry." And then as soon as that happens, you see his body drops to the floor, limp. His eyes have rolled back in his head, and you can see almost this graying to his skin, but he is dead.
All right.
For now.
If
Well, you can finish.
here's what I want to ask: if we have an hour, I'm going to cast Ceremony.
Okay.
I'm going to prepare a funeral rite for this man.
Oh.
Okay. Gotcha.
Specifically, I touch a corpse.
Yep.
He is a corpse. And for the next 7 days, the target cannot become undead by any means short of a wished spell.
All right.
Good. That was my question.
So we will say
I
that
was gonna say
This is considered buff.
Yeah, it is.
Willow would just attempt to help Daryl since he still sounds like he's recovering.
Yeah,
he
you see Daryl. He steps over this wreckage right here, and you can see that he's still weak. And when he steps out, yeah, you're able to get him over to the table, Willow, and he takes a seat there, and he says, "Oh, I'm just glad he didn't hurt anyone. Oh, God, my side hurts." And he looks around, and he says, "Wait, where's Cletus?"
He made it. That's why we're here.
Oh, thank you.
The next question is what's behind that door? Tor says, pointing to.
Door number 2.
Actually, next question is, could you try holding this? Because if we want to keep whatever's on that side of the door on that side, I'm not the best choice.
Yeah, so actually, that was going to be my next point. Once that was brought up, Rook, I need you to make a strength check.
Uh-oh.
No.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
That right now, Peregrine's casting a
Oh,
ritual, which takes.
It went poorly.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we're going to
Quick,
we're gonna
cast throw hands on the door.
we're gonna say
I need to.
we're gonna say at this point, Rook, you are, as you're saying this, you are literally thrown forward, pushing Brayton off to the floor, or off to the side behind Daryl. At which point you see the door opens as, oh shit, why am I on object layer? That's weird. When you see coming through the door are 3 zombies. Yeah, I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative.
Yay. There's more. Amazing.
Oh, good. I get to go probably first.
I ain't going first. That's goddamn sure.
Why do I have Bjorn on initiative? That's weird. Bjorn should be dead.
I think you
Well,
probably
he-
had him on initiative.
Did she
and
get?
Yeah, I do.
Booyah!
I had to put him on initiative just so I could even adjust his HP.
I'm not going to bother rolling with advantage.
Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah, what a waste of a natural 20, though.
Nope. All right, Tor. Yeah, you see Rook gets thrown forward. He's knocked to the floor as this zombie comes shambling in, swiping at the air.
Great. That's great. Love it.
All right, well, take my attack. And it went shitty. Take my bonus attack.
Oh, that hits.
I rolled a 2.
Yeah, I know. Zombies don't have a very high AC. They're not very quick, and they don't have
Alright,
armor.
so 8 hits.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you think of a thing, if you're not wearing armor, your base AC is 10, minus 2 from his negative dexterity. So
Yep.
yeah, you got an 8.
That's it. 8 AC.
Alright, well, I'll roll the damage on that, and then I'll roll my bonus attack.
All right.
Looks like it's going to be 7.
Okay.
Alright, and then a bonus attack.
Oh, right.
All right. And your bonus attack.
If it rolls, there it goes.
12. years later. Guys, by the way, guess what? I have hot cock sauce chopsticks.
Wow.
Sriracha, hot cock sauce. You know, fiery rooster sauce.
I mean, it's important to have correct utensils.
I don't know. I'm more
For
of a
what you
fan
eat.
of if you're going
And
for
that
hot sauce,
is
I like
6 damage.
more fan of gochujang.
Heard of that? Never had it.
Yeah, always keep some of that on hand.
Yeah, it's
So that's 15 damage total. Yeah.
13.
Um.
6 and 7.
Oh, I was looking at the roll.
Oh, that's a hit.
Yeah. So yeah,
Alright.
13. Sorry, and my armor class is effectively a 17.
Gotcha. All right, Willow. You can see, bathed in the light of this purplish glow coming from the stove, zombies pushing through this door.
Shit. Does the door look like I could
Zombie
I could shut it with a mage hand? I don't use that well enough. Or
I'm
has
going
it
to.
been busted through, like broken?
It hasn't been busted through, but it's definitely been jarred open. So, I'm just gonna say, I mean, with mage hand, it is more weight than because you'd have to be pushing it through the zombie.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. If there's
Yeah,
something
'cause-
sort of in the way, then
Yeah, the zombie, because you would it would be more than 10 pounds that you would have to push past.
then lightning jolt. There's people in the way, right? I can't do lightning jolt around anyone. It just kind of.
Yeah, you would definitely hit. You would definitely hit them.
Okay, lightning dart. There's nothing to click. What do I?
You just make a ranged attack. I might have to go in and
Die?
it would just be a +5. Yeah. Is that one of mine?
I just do throw you.
Mm.
Yeah, lightning dart and jolt. 18.
That is one of mine. Why does that not have it to hit? Why is it a plus?
I don't know.
Oh, dealing a. Yeah, that hits. Yeah.
8.
All right.
We can sort of see the other 2-ish that are zombies.
Yes. You can see that there are more than just the one
Or
that is right there.
that made it through. There.
Yep. Ranged. Huh. I'll have to look into that. I don't know why that one doesn't have that, but I can probably figure it out. All right. Rook. You are on the ground. You are prone, but you can use half of your movement to stand back up.
Yeah, I'll stand up half my movement. I don't have anywhere much to run anyway.
Okay. And for your action,
what action is drawing a dagger an action? Yeah, ready, I guess.
I mean, you can no readying an action is when you say like, you give me what the trigger is, what you want to happen, and then we move on. So I mean, if you wanna draw your dagger and then stab this thing, you could do that.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna try that then,
Okay.
just because melee range and
Yep.
noise issues.
Not only that, but disadvantage on ranged attacks.
Yeah, the disadvantage on the ranged attack, and it's too that loud.
Right.
Yeah, just better to do this way.
Okay. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Although I'm not. Yeah.
That does hit, though, because you have the flanking bonus coming from Peregrine and Tor. So that is a 9. So that's definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll your damage. So with Tor going up, getting those 2 massive hits, Willow from the back, she shoots that lightning dart, zapping this thing, and as it's like standing there charged, Rook, you draw your dagger and you shove it into this thing's body, and you see some black ichor fall out of it, but as you do, it collapses to the ground in a heap. Would you like to do anything as a bonus action before we move on?
Yeah, I'll add a True Strike.
Okay. All right. At this point, the one zombie is going to move in and is going to go. We're going to roll a d4. All right. And it. That's a 19 to hit. And that's 5 points. As you see this thing come in, and it just moves around the door, and it swipes, and it catches Martin across the face. Just like it's rough and jagged fingers ripping into him, dropping Martin to the ground in a pile of blood.
But
Well, looks like I better prepare another ceremony ritual.
Speaking of which, it's Peregrine.
All right, good thing I still have that sword in my hand.
Hmm.
All right, where's the? No. 2 hits. And then 2 damage.
All right.
That's about it.
Okay. 4 points of fire damage against this thing. See, this zombie squeezes in past this one and is going to go after Rook. And that is going to miss.
Yay.
Back up to Tor.
Punch it in the fucking head.
All right. I'll wait 5 minutes for the die to finish rolling.
Kills me. I don't know why that is that way.
Fucking 1.
Yeah, what the fuck? Lightning Dart should just be literally the same thing.
Oh, well, that was a 1.
Unfortunately, that misses.
And I'll roll the bonus attack.
Okay. I literally think I even made Lightning Dart based on Firebolt. Like, I pulled the information from Firebolt, and it's still not working.
And give a little
That's so stupid.
bit off.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a hell of an unarmed strike.
Yeah. So I missed with a club, but I bashed his head.
All right. See that one is bloodied. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, it's gonna have to be, I guess.
Okay. On to Willow.
Yeah, I can move, right? So, I mean, apparently, do I have to go around this here table?
No, we could say that you could climb it if so needed.
So, this only goes 10 feet. Lightning jolt.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, 10
Okay,
feet
but
long, 5 feet wide.
it won't hit 4. It'll hit these two and not
Correct.
4. If I get it. So what do I click for this? Dex 13. Oh, they do it.
They have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Don't be very dexterous.
They're
Zombies.
Huh. Well, we'll say the one in the front we'll say that Z1 is the one that takes the damage. So go ahead and roll that D6 there.
Out of the way. I was just attempting to get 2 for 1.
All right.
No.
So this will going to take 5. I mean, hey, it's a good option. Targets wearing armor made of metal that succeed the save take damage as if you were. Yeah. That's what I thought. All right. Oops, sorry. We're on to Rook's turn.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna pop Branding Smite on as well.
Okay. And go at it
And
with a
stab the
dagger.
one directly in front of me.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. And you get a +4 to this, I believe. Because you had your true
That's good.
strike. So yeah, that definitely hits. So go ahead and roll. I believe that's 1d4 plus 2d6 plus 2. Yeah. Ooh.
And the 3 of that is Radiant.
Okay. So we're gonna go. All right. It is still standing, but just barely hanging on.
Don't attack me.
All right. So it is this zombie's turn, and this one is going to attack Rook, and I believe that hits. And Rook, you're going to take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And up next is going to be Peregrine.
All right, let's hit Z3 again. Good
Okay.
old fashioned fire sword.
Nice. With your flanking bonus, that hits.
Yay. For 3.
All right. That is enough to kill that one. As you rip your flaming sword up through its gullet, spilling it down to the ground. All right. This one back here on its. Oh, I guess I should ask. Do you have anything else you want to do, Peregrine?
Not really. That's really all I can do.
Okay. Cool. All right. This one is going to go after Willow. That's a hit. And Willow, you're going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Stupid zombie.
Damn, Willow, what's your AC?
11.
Fortunate.
Tor, as it comes up to your turn, you guys hear this noise from behind as you see a crossbow bolt fly up from Roarhoth's crossbow as he sticks one of the bolts into the zombie that is currently assailing Willow.
Should have been a little faster, buddy.
He looks up. He's like fumbling with it. He's like, "You try loading a crossbow in the middle of the dark."
Middle of the dark.
He's over here in this just dark ass corner trying to load a crossbow that he's only ever maybe fired once when he was a kid, 50 years ago.
I don't think she would have said that out loud. She'd just be annoyed she got smacked by a damn zombie.
That's a hit.
It's usually Daryl who has a crossbow. He's really good with it.
Yeah.
In The Walking Dead. And his motorcycle.
Well, he was in the other room when crossbows were getting handed out, so
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, too bad.
All right. Yeah, 9 points. This thing is still standing.
I'm going to
It's
take my
bloody.
bonus attack.
Yep. All right. Yeah. See that damage.
It's going to be 5.
5. All right. As you bash at him with your great club, making him stumble back. And as he does, you take your unarmed strike and you blast him in the stomach with enough force to down him. And with that, I will say, Tor, you glance up into the room that you're in. You can see that the door right here has been pulled off of its hinges, leading to the outside, just so you can see there. I guess you wouldn't be able to see. You don't got dark vision. But you can see just to the outside out there that the door into this store area where you're able to see some like sacks of flowers and a bag of potatoes that's been knocked over. The door here has been ripped off of its hinges.
Crazy.
All right. I'll bring in that table. We need to block this door off.
Don't any of us have mending?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I
Fix
do.
the door in some fashion. Mend the door.
Do we want to do the table, or is Peregrine going to do the door?
I will go mend the door, and if we want to reinforce it, we'll put the table on it.
All right.
Let's just do both.
Maybe prop one of those armchairs.
Okay. So we will say that over the next few minutes, the table is, or we'll say one of the armchairs is brought into there upon Rook's recommendation. Set up in front of the
Yeah,
door.
there's no
to
quiet way we're getting that table through this doorway.
Right. Setting it up in order to at least stabilize the door. At which point Peregrine begins to cast the mending spell on this, fixing the broken hinges on the door as well as the splits in the wood. A few minutes go by, but eventually you are able to get the door. Back into a working state.
Good.
Great.
Good.
Handy little spell.
Oh, yeah. Big chair.
Oh my god. That'll block the door.
I cast enlarge on the chair.
I do love the fact that they just they within the past few months they updated this app to where if one of you ever cast enlarge reduce on yourself, like for example Peregrine here, I can actually just go in and choose to make you large so you take up the 2x2 square, or if even somehow bigger.
Yeah.
Also the fact that tiny and small is also an option. I love how small is just like a little bitty blip up.
A little bit.
So yeah, we'll say that while that was going on, while Peregrine was mending the door, you can see that the moon is high in the sky outside. There is a dense fog surrounding this place. You can hear the bemoaning sounds of the undead just beyond the fields, but it appears that the scuffle that you have just engaged in has not drawn any unwanted attention your direction.
Fantastic. Good. Can I healer kit myself? However that works.
Yeah, as long as you didn't use that on yourself. You guys had a short rest. So yeah, you can definitely do that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's once per short or long rest, so you just have to make sure that you're not abusing that.
Are we gonna take a long rest?
In fact,
As long as the zombies allow.
So, because actually I was gonna say,
rest again.
Actually I was gonna say, so, the way that things work out for this next small period of time, you get the door mended on the back, and you head back in, Peregrine, shutting the door behind you there.
Block off
Can I
that
go
door
down the
too.
hallway to his room and mend that window?
Sure, definitely. Yeah, we'll say that during this period of time, that you guys are going to get a long rest for this, because we will say that you guys go back through, with Peregrine, you're able to mend the doors, you're able to mend the windows as well in order to clear out this, or to block off any way that something could get in. And you also spend the time casting that ceremony spell. But beyond that, as the flames inside, as the smoldering flames inside the furnace are offering some heat, you see Daryl has moved over to there trying to garner some warmth. You see the others have gathered around the body of Martin, as Brayton is standing there, just like holding the hand of poor Martin.
He was killed. That was something I was gonna say. I couldn't heal him. He died. He didn't get knocked to 0.
I mean, he took 5 points of damage, so technically he could have been, but nobody was like, "Hey, I want to heal Martin," so.
Well, not during the fight.
I know, but after the fight, it was already too far gone.
Too far.
He took a mean hit.
He rolled some really bad death saves.
Yeah. They and whenever you see as Peregrine comes in, hearing that Peregrine was going to perform a ceremony on Bjorn's body before the door was burst open by these undead, Brayton goes up to you, Peregrine, and says, "You think you could do that to poor old Martin here? Oh, I'd hate to see that same thing happen."
Absolutely.
Oh.
You know what? You can all take part of the ceremony.
Well, if it stops us from turning into those creatures, I think that's what we all need. As you just go up with your shotgun and just bury the barrel into their stomachs, and it's like everyone just stares at you in disbelief, and it's like, what? Sorry, the spell says you touch one corpse. They all gotta die.
They all gotta die.
They all gotta die. So yeah, we will say that during this time you go through the process of performing this ceremony on their two bodies of Bjorn and Martin. Here, I'll just to have their pictures back. There we go.
Poor guys. You really wouldn't let me kill or kit poor Martin.
When you went up to even think about it, you realize that he had just lost so much blood with that attack, and there was just unfortunately not enough time. He was not as sturdy as Daryl was. It seems as if Daryl was a little bit hardier, a little more constituted. I did, by the way, just I just rolled a D2 to see if Martin was gonna make it or not. So yeah. Yep. Flipped a coin.
Performing the ceremony right, and it's like let this one pass on to the gates of the Raven Queen. It's like I'm not dead.
Yes, you are.
It's like what the fuck you're not. That's not how this works.
Embrace the Raven Queen.
He says he's not dead.
That's not how this works. You all saw he died. He's not. You can't come back once you're dead. That's not how this works.
I saw him dead. I said I saw him dead. Oh. All right. So with that, you are able to perform this ceremony on their bodies, and with a solemn silence kind of spread across the room, you see the others taking their positions back at the windows, as they say that there's they don't see anything out beyond the fields. So with that, you guys are able to rest, and you can go ahead and proc for a long rest.
Yay! Long rest.
Woo!
Man, we didn't save very many of these damn farmers.
Hey, you saved a couple of them.
They keep dying. I guess we did save.
Save the majority.
Two of them
I mean,
are gone.
so put it this way. Sure, you have a net negative. You guys got there, and 2 of those people are dead, but you got 1 back because of Daryl.
Something like that.
All right. So, as you're
No
all
idea.
able to rest for the evening, it's not a very restful night. But as the morning comes and the sun begins to creep and break through the slats in the windows, you see those that were propped up against the windows, kind of just wearied-eyed, looking up. Brayton, who was at the table, and Daryl, who was who sat in one of the armchairs by the fire, which has grown cold at this point. You see they perk up as the sun is beginning to rise, and you're all starting to wake up and look around and say, so Brayton looks at the 4 of you and says, so do you think you think it's going to be safe for us to get back to town?
With us guarding you, we should be able to make it back to town. We just have to be careful not to draw too much attention.
Yeah.
Are we seeking that temple?
And well, you see,
Maybe the temple will make the undead stop.
good.
I reckon we can make it there well before sundown, even if we head back to town first.
Oh yeah.
Daryl. Oh, sorry. Good. Were you gonna say something? Oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
No, I was just agreeing with him.
Okay. Daryl walks up. He has a bit of a limp. He says, "Yeah, I think if we can get back to town, those things don't really stir during the waking hours. They mostly just perk up once the moon's out. Fortunately, though, they've been edging closer and closer to town each day." So, I can only imagine it's a short time before they overrun the place. And as you're saying, as you guys are talking about this, you see Roarhoth over here by the door with this other farmer as they're going about the process of opening up the door, taking down the defenses on it. And when he opens the door, you can peek out and you see that the sun has come out. It's a far warmer day than the night before. And Roarhoth has his crossbow, and he looks over at Daryl, and he chucks it over to him, and he says, "Here, kid, you take this." Daryl grabs it, looks at it, and he goes, "It's been a while since I held one of these." But he masterfully grabs a bolt, cocks it back, loads it in, almost as if he has done it his entire life, and then just slings it over his shoulder. And he looks at Roarhoth and the other 3, and looks at Brayton and says, "You think between the 5 of you, you can get their bodies back?" And he nods over to Martin and Bjorn's bodies. And farmers all nod. And he looks at the 4 of you, and he says, "Well, I guess we should be heading back to town."
Well, you guys are in this area quite often. Do you know of the temple?
Daryl, he nods. Brayton, he's starting to maneuver over with the others to pick up Martin and Brayton's bodies, and Martin and Bjorn's bodies, and Brayton looks at you and he goes, "Yeah, it's out in the forest. That old thing, it's just beyond the tree line out there. It's an old place. There's, you know, kids around here growing up. They always talk about seeing spooks out there. It's one of those things that you go, you run over there and you see how long you could stand next to it. But it's really not that crazy of a place. Just an old crypt."
Well, perhaps we should make our way to the edge of the forest.
And they look at you and they say, "So you're not coming back to town?"
So, what, are we seeing them to town and then heading back for the temple? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's dawn now. We only came like how
Oh.
far was it getting out here?
It's
Couple
not that far.
miles.
It's only a few miles.
Yeah, we could be back here around noon. Sounds like the best time to do this.
Get inside a crypt.
We'll see you two when town's in sight. You should be safe to make it back.
They nod. And they say, "Okay, yeah, we'll let's head back." And see the unnamed farmhands. They all pick up Bjorn's body. You see Rurhoth and Martin. They load up, Rurhoth and Brayton. They load up Martin's body and start to make their way outside. Daryl with them, the crossbow over his shoulder. And we'll say with that, you guys march your way back to the town of Crest-Britoke. As you make your way there, you see that the pathway leading back to town, there's no movement out in the fields. You see... actually, I should ask, Peregrine, do you resummon your horse?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. From the height of your horse, you're able to see that out in the field, there's almost depressions in where the wheat are. That as you go by them, you can actually see that it's where the undead have just sort of fallen over and are immobile in this moment in time.
Huh.
Well,
that's weird.
What happens if you disturb them during the day?
I mean,
DM makes a face.
Would you like to try?
Well, I'm just
Ooh.
curious if anyone has ever done it.
They look at you and they just sort of, all emphatically shake their heads no. They're like, when they see how many are around here, they say, "There's never been this many." Daryl looks at all of you and he says, "There's never been this many this close to town." And the ones out on the other side of the farmhouse, no. But then again, we don't go out to that side of the fields. It's full of rot. The crops are diseased and decay. They have this horrible odor and stench to them that's gut-wrenching. I would never go near them anyway.
Is it similar to the smell of the rotting dead?
It's like the smell of rotten wheat mixed with rotting flesh.
It's a shame we don't have a druid who knows something about this. This is very I can discern rot amongst people, but plants it's alien to me.
He nods and he says it's one of the reasons why a lot of the farmers have left and why a lot of us have been trying to draw some attention to what's going on here in town, but Mayor Devry, he really didn't want anybody knowing about this. Wanted to try and solve it without any kind of official notice. You see what's happened now. Half of our crops are completely useless, and the other half we're having to risk our lives just to come out here and get them. It's just
He
not
will
worth
pay
it.
for this when we're done. Your lives are not meant to be expendable because he did not seek the proper channels to solve this problem that has grown far too big for your people to handle.
You should have reached out to the authorities. Instead, I arrived here from one of your flyers.
Yeah, the townsfolk sort of banded together, a few of us. We got word out as best as we could. We figured it was going to be the only way because Mayor Devry, we don't know why, he really didn't want the capital sending any kind of reinforcements down here. Said that we needed
And
to resolve it ourselves.
look what
Yes,
that's got
resolve it
you.
yourselves, and then he'll take the credit
Looking
for
at
it.
the two dead bodies.
Yeah. All right, so with that, some time goes by as you guys march up through the fields. Eventually, you reach the edge of the town. You can see that there has been a makeshift palisade set up. Um, some oh shoot, I can't think of what they are. Blockades, like the spike blockades, um, as well as some rudimentary ditches dug in front of the streets and pathways and alleyways that have had some like broken boards and glass thrown into them. As you guys arrive to the edge of town, you can see some folks standing there around the street that you guys are walking up, and they see you all coming up. And in a slight commotion, they start to call over to you, and they set up two plankways to cross over the ditch that has all the broken debris in it. And as they do, you can see that standing there is Monty, and he sees all of you walking up, and he sees the state of the group, and he approaches all of you, and you can see not too far behind him is the town priest as well. But Monty walks up, says, "Not gonna lie, I was afraid if you guys weren't gonna make it in. We Cletus told us about what happened before he left, and we weren't sure what was gonna happen with you guys." I guess
Well,
I can put this map up. It's not much, but that's the map I had made.
We survived the night. We had some undead
And
and other things to take care of.
yeah, when you say we survived the night, he looks over at the bodies of Bjorn and Martin and says, "See, not everyone made it though."
one was long dead before we
One,
got there. His fate was
yeah,
sealed.
he took himself. out, really.
As he says that, you guys see Cletus. He makes his way up from the street, from all the commotion. He's like, "Oh, hey, you guys are back!" And he sort of pauses when he sees everyone there, and he sees Martin's body being pulled up by Brayton and Rohrhoth, and he sort of like scans them. He goes, "Hey, where's my?" And then he sees Bjorn being carried by the other four farmers. He goes, "My dad.
Oh God.
What happened?" And
You'll have to talk to Daryl about that.
he runs over to Bjorn's body, and you see Daryl. He goes up to him. He sighs. Cletus's eyes are starting to tear up. He says, "But he was fine. I mean, he had that little scratch on it." And he sees Daryl there, and he goes, "Wait, what are you doing here? Weren't you bit?" And Daryl looks at him, and he just sort of shakes his head, and he puts his hand on Cletus' shoulder, and he goes, "Cletus, your dad put us all in danger." Brayton sort of looks up at the two of them, and he goes, "It's why he sent you back to town. I couldn't put my finger on it. You might be quick, kid, but you're the clumsiest one of all of us. Rohrhoth should have been the one to go back to town. He's the most quiet, and he's faster than you. But your father kept pushing to send you. It's only now that I realize he did it so that you wouldn't have been there whenever he turned on all of us." And with that, Brayton and Rohrhoth take Martin's body, and they sort of take him off to one of the side roads, and from a distance you can hear the sound of a woman crying as she runs up to Brayton and Rohrhoth. And you see Cletus, he's sort of standing there next to Bjorn's body as the three hold him. And Daryl's just sort of like standing there with him, trying to comfort him. What do you guys do during all of this?
I'm going. I want to find the priest of Paylor.
Yeah.
He's right there
The
with
priest or the mayor.
yeah. Paylorian Smith is right there with Monty.
All right. With Monty's there, I want to ask him. It's like we have seen that the undead are just outside and are inactive during the daylight, and their bodies are just lying on the ground.
Monty sort of, raising an eyebrow, and he says, they just dropped."
They just dropped. They dropped exactly where they were standing and are all just inactive. If that is
Can I?
the best way to put it.
That's not right.
Can I say? Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Willow thinks on this to see if she remembers anything about undead who kind of are daytime undead. Like collects herself and to see if she remembers anything she's learned after things have started to settle down.
I mean, you can roll like a general history check. I'm not exactly sure what in Willow's history you're sort of pulling that from, but we'll see what the check says. And what specifically are you? What specifically
came
are
out-
you?
Fighting the undead for a reason. I mean, if she didn't think she could take them out.
I mean, I read your backstory. I don't really understand where your desire to hunt the undead is from, actually.
She was just helping out. She doesn't have a desire to hunt the undead. She apparently.
Yeah,
I rolled a 1.
I'm gonna say that based on that, there's really like no recollection to what would cause, like, what the difference there would
Okay.
be. If anybody else wants to roll a history check, I mean, being
Yeah, I think she would perk up and say, none of you have heard of
Heard of what?
undead, that night walkers, I guess. I don't know what to call them.
you see a scantily clad, dressed woman. She steps out from an alleyway like a vampire. You called me.
No,
Is she
no.
like?
No.
pulls her-
That's a streetwalker.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. I will go back to my
Oh.
cave. Oh man.
See what she's picking at. See if there's any. Is there anything to be? It's not really. It's all the same roll. Don't matter which one it is. Arcana, history, or religion. It's all the same one.
Same.
It don't matter which one it
Yeah.
is. It's
Yeah,
the
it's
same.
It's all intelligence based. It's just you just might have proficiency in one is all. So if you would like to roll,
I don't.
yeah.
Fuck it. Just going with religion. Why not?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a follower of the Raven Queen, you are familiar with the undead and the dead. But the general concept of the undead is that normally there is some power that is raising them. Normally it's some kind of necromantic energy, and while that normally permeates, they are up. And something that you also noticed was that there was almost like a rotting smell coming from the undead that were laying out in the fields. But you are aware of the smell of rotting flesh, but this was more of like the smell of rotting earth. That to you tells you something, that this might be tied to something more natural, but it might be something that is linked to the day and night cycle. What that specifically is, you might not, you can't readily you can't readily pinpoint what that might be, though.
Okay. I want to test a theory.
Okay.
All right. So, astride my horse, I'm going to go back out into the field where all those dead are.
Okay.
I would like to decapitate one of them.
Okay. What theory are you testing?
Well, if these things are only basically responsive to like this day and night cycle, and they're basically at this point inert, then if I blow one of their heads off with a shotgun, then they shouldn't respond to the sound.
Gotcha.
Oh my god.
Okay,
That's
so
so
you are decapitating this one.
Yeah, basically just walking up, put the shotgun straight to its dome and
Yeah.
blowing its fucking head off.
As soon as you do, you let fire this shell from your dead man's tail, and its head just splatters across the ground. This small crater there in the earth, as blood and decaying brains just drench the region in front of you. The shot rings out across the field. You see in the distance like birds fluttering away out of the trees. But after a few seconds, there's nothing.
I come back to town and say, everyone, get a shovel, a hammer, a scythe. We are culling the herd now.
All right.
And I will lead them out into the fields, and we will decapitate every corpse out in this field. So there will be nothing to raise tonight.
All right. So, is everyone else joining Willow, Rook, and Tor?
Of course.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, as almost in homage to Weird Al's Weasel Stomping Day, it is Crest Britoke's Undead Decapitating Day. As you see the townsfolk
Yay.
here, they start to make their way out of town with shovels and hatchets, large pieces of metal. You see the children are joining in. Townsfolk are just out there, sawing away at these things. And like I said, the smell of rot and decay begins to really fill the field as the guts and innards of these things are just spilled out across the field. But how in just a few short hours, you have worked your way back to where the field house is, and as you reach that area, you just hear the sounds in the distance of people cheering and laughing and slicing and cavorting. But you see, once you get to about where the field house is, you see most people are not going beyond that. And that's actually where you can see that the crops are wilted and browned, with almost like a slime on them that has almost dragged them down. And you see these kids, they're laughing. They each have like one end of like one of those giant goofy wavy hand saws, as they're running up through the field. And you see the parents, they go up there like, no, don't go beyond there, I don't want you kids getting sick. Come on, let's go kill some more zombies.
Peregrine has the biggest smile on her face.
I figured as much.
She is astride her horse with a shotgun like out on her hip, just the biggest fucking smile on her face. Like, yes, and just like fucking looking over to the Palorian priest, like, yeah, that's fucking right.
You see that Palorian Smith is standing there, and he's nodding, and he says, ridding the world of evil so that the light can shine more. We are two sides of the same coin, my child.
As I walk over and stomp ahead of a zombie with my horse,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like one of us has to get our hands dirty.
You see, you see that when you say that, just for reference, here's his picture again. He goes over to one. He has a little bit more of a slower gait than you, but he takes that staff, spins it up in the air, and just brings it down on the neck of a zombie, popping its head off.
And I was gonna say, which kind of matched the someone has to get their hands dirty. I'm pretty sure Willow's gonna be mage handing as much as she possibly
You're gonna
can.
throw hands at every zombie head?
I don't. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just Eldritch Blast, Eldritch
Yeah.
Blast, Eldritch Blast.
So she doesn't have to touch too much.
I just imagine also Tor's out there, just his great club, just like.
Well, the
slamming
dagger would
down.
be really slow.
Yeah.
No, he's basically playing golf with zombie heads.
I was actually exactly going to say
No,
that.
See, and the thing is that since they're all incapacitated, melee hits, what is it? Incapacitated, and they are unconscious, which means all attacks within 5 feet are criticals. So you're just going around just like, you know, you're all one hitting these things.
Tor sets them up in a pattern and then backs up and throws his boomerang to try to ricochet it between all their.
So, while this is going on, I do want you all to roll me either a nature check or a perception check, whatever is higher for you.
Where's the nature?
Nature should be
Yeah,
right
thanks
above
for me.
perception.
Fuck you with that +1.
only slightly.
Not much better, but it is what it is.
Why did it say 13? Oh wait, that was someone else's. Never mind.
Yeah, that was
I figured
Peregrine.
it out.
So I'm gonna say that Tor sees this more because you said about how you were lining them up. You notice that the undead have this almost similar, like you see the field on the other side of the field house, where the crops have this almost slime to it. You're realizing that as you're handling these undead, their skin has almost a similar quality to it after handling them. And you realize not only that, but each one of them has a very similar kind of look to them. Like these splotches on their skin that it kind of stands out to you. It almost appears as if it's like a rash almost.
At some point, point that out to us.
Let me.
So, I have.
I'm gonna roll a medicine.
Okay.
I had another idea of something I wanted to do.
Okay.
While we're in weasel stomping day.
Yep.
So I want to. I basically want to attempt what would be a control burn by
Okay.
starting by basically with the people with shovels to
Yeah.
start a cut. I want them basically around the edge of where the diseased crops are. I want to basically have them cut like a trench into the earth.
Okay.
So that we can sequester where the rot is and then try to burn and destroy those crops.
So I'm okay. So you get a good number of folks together to do this. You can see that there's almost a like semicircle that is coming out of the forest of where this rot is slowly moving out. And it doesn't take you long to recognize that it's kind of a, if you had mapped this out in a giant circle, the center of this circle would be somewhere within the forest in the direction of where the Temple of Kelemvor is.
So it's coming from that temple, so we're gonna have to go through this to get to the temple.
What's the weather been like?
A few of the folks tell you that the weather has mostly just been warm. There hasn't been a ton of rain, but yeah, that's kind of where I'll leave it. They tell you that there hasn't been a ton of rain, that it's been fairly warm.
Yeah, we let that fire spread to the forest. It could spread further than that in these conditions.
You actually, as
The
you're
rot will
saying
burn
this,
fast, but the
as you're
woods might
saying
be a bit
this,
dry.
you actually see one of the farmers trying to light the crops up, but the slime that is on these crops is impeding the fire from lighting it.
All right.
The rest of the forest might burn faster at that rate.
Also, wanted to say with the medicine check tour, this almost looks. I will say that you've spent enough time. You've spent enough time now since you've been sort of off your ship, spending time out and about, trying to find some folks to help you. This is kind of looks like poison ivy, but like you kind of think to yourself like, why would a bunch of undead zombies have poison ivy?
All right, since I figure she's probably better at it, Peregrine, something odd here. Come, lend me your knowledge,
Okay.
and show him what this rash. These undead have a peculiar rash. I don't know how they would catch poison ivy, though.
If you would like to roll Peregrine, either a medicine or nature check.
All right, medicine it is.
So taking a look at this, it's definitely odd. It kind of looks like poison ivy, but with your experience of the rot of human flesh, this almost appears to be slowing the rot of human flesh wherever these patches of rash are. That you can see there is decay on these bodies, but where these patches of rash are, the decay has almost slowed.
Well, this just doesn't make any sense to me. This is stopping the putrefaction of the body, or at
There's
least
a lot of bodies
slowing
here.
it. It's almost as if it's trying to keep these things whole and making them last longer.
That was
Well, that makes sense
my
considering
thought,
how
too.
many bodies we got. I mean, the number of folk from that town that were in a state of only moderate decay at any given time, and oughtn't be this many. Most of the old bodies would be bones.
This is something for me specifically. Can I check the eyes of the zombies?
Sure. We'll say that your DC, or say that your 18 in medicine is going to apply to that. What specifically are you looking for?
I want to see the if they have developed cataracts yet.
Only because I don't know what you're trying to get at. What are you trying to get at?
I want, because I know how fast the human body decomposes. The first thing to go when a body dies is the eyes. Is that the vitreous humor solidifies and turns into cataracts, which basically renders a person blind. If this is slowing down the rate of decay, then their eyes aren't, like, the vitreous humor isn't solidifying, and that's why they can see things. That's why they're like attracted to light, is because they can,
Gotcha.
is that their
Gotcha.
eyes aren't rotting, because like literally by day 2, their eyes are, they're like is my chief thing with I have wrong with everything that is The Walking Dead. By day 2, all zombies are blind.
Um,
Their eyes will just literally just bleed out of their skulls.
you can see that their eyes are clear.
Yep.
But as you are looking into them, there's something that is off. And that is that as you're looking into these eyes, you can see a very small amount of haze, but as you look into them, you can see what almost look like small, like the end of vines, like roots, like plant roots, almost like peering up through the eyes.
Um,
I'm gonna take my surgeon's kit and I'm gonna dissect this eye. I need to see where this goes.
Okay. Roll me. Okay, go ahead and roll me a survival or medicine check. Were you gonna say something, Stacy?
At this point, I'm sure this would caught Willow's attention. She's at least observing what
Oh,
the
yeah.
hell's going on and why she's now like, well, let's dig out this here eyeball.
With a 17, do I dig out this eyeball?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah.
As you do, you pluck out the eye. You can see that inside the socket, the optical nerve has receded. But in its place, you can see is these small, tiny, filament-like roots that have implanted into the eye. And in fact, it's actually where you can see that there is in the back of the eye, because I believe, can't you can remove cataracts, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
My dad just had the surgery.
Yeah. So you can almost see that, like, that film is still in the eye. It is just sort of sloshed down in and has been replaced by these small little vines that have taken over in the place of the optical nerve.
Does this look like magic yet?
This is
Uh,
looking less and less like necromancy to me. This is looking like something else. This is
Can I-
something I have never seen before.
They didn't like the radiant energy,
Can I
but I can't say I noticed it doing too much to them more than normal.
I was gonna say, if this is some sort of, this is atypical necromancy. This is more of like something living taking over the dead, almost like puppetry.
Can I do an Arcana check?
Sure.
I mean, if it's not,
I mean, what
to
specifically
see
are
if
you
it's a
trying?
magic if it's some kind of magic I would recognize.
Sure. Go ahead and roll Arcana.
I mean, if we're leaning towards not necromancy, then what else might it be? I mean, I'm a sorcerer
Yeah, go ahead.
after all. I did.
Oh, you did?
Not come up.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah, I see it now. So this, yeah. You're taking a look at this. You're listening to what Peregrine and Rook are talking about, how Peregrine's telling you that, you know, this is atypical necromancy. But something like this, it kind of seems a little familiar. In that it almost appears, you know, with your ranger background, or sorry, with your sorceress background, you remember back to your time in your more torturous days of experimentation, and one of the other changelings having an augmentation built into them in what your torturer called necrobotany. The almost impregnation of necromantic magic through more naturalistic druidic means.
Yeah.
And when this sort of comes to your mind, that's when you kind of realize those tiny little vines that you're seeing in this thing's eyes, those are those appear as if they were photosynthetical receptors, drawing in the light of the day and giving rise to them at night.
So, yeah, I would relate some of that. She's not going to talk about her torture, but say from past experience, I think I've seen this necrobotany before. It seems their eyes work like plant eyes. Plant eyes. Oh my god. That's a thing. Like
Okay. Now I
like
got
plants draw the sun.
Photosynthesis.
Plant eyes. I distracted myself by saying plant eyes. But sure, I relay something similar to what you said and mention photosynthesis and not say plant eyes.
we need to build funeral pyres. We need to make sure these bodies don't rise. Normal necromancy taking their heads off, that would stop them. Can these things function without their heads?
They haven't seemed to so far, but may as well burn them and be sure.
Well, does it seem like their eyes were what was, I mean, if that was collecting the energy?
Their eyes seem as if they were, from what you're able to tell from them, you imagine that their eyes are kind of functioned in the same way that eyes would. You know how, like, plants can respond to the sun, they can respond to natural light? Kind of imagine the same way. It's just in the reverse. You know, they garner the energy of the sun and is awakened in the moonlight.
Do we see any signs then of these plant things elsewhere in their bodies
As
that
you
can also collect the energy?
as you start to investigate this, you can see that what would have just been passed off as sinew and tissue any other time, you start to recognize that their body has these small, tiny plant-like roots going throughout their body. Just to look at one you would not be able to see it, but to actually spend some time checking for that, you are able to see that they all have them pretty much running through their body.
Yeah. Wholeheartedly agree. They may rise without their heads. That's a sentence I need to say no more often.
Well, we're burning something today, guys.
Woo. Fire.
So yeah, with that, if you guys are going to set up some ceremonial pyres, we will call it at that for the evening. Just because it is about
It's
about half past 12.
Yeah, that's about good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
will say,
They had some trenches,
definitely thought
right?
we got the real.
they did have some trenches. Yes.
Those would contain the burning.
Yeah, why not? Let's make a mass grave and set them all on fire. Let's commit a war crime, guys.
They're already dead.
Already dead. We were making them remain that way.
Yeah, tell that to the people of Auschwitz. War crimes!
I don't see how it's better burning them anywhere else.
Hey, it's not. I'm just fucking with you.
And we just figure we may as well do this as efficiently as possible. We already decided to stomp all their heads and make it a big
Well,
party
that
for
was
the whole town.
well. Hold on, that was for
Yeah, the
fun.
kids were even in